School Athletic Hall of Fame. We realize you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us, and we do appreciate that. This is now our 5th induction ceremony. If you have not joined us for one of these in the past, let's get you caught up on how we got here. This Hall of Fame was started back in 2019. There's a group of Cascade High School administrators, coaches, alumni, and supporters that came together to get this Hall of Fame started. They formed a Hall of Fame committee, of which I am a member. Some of our other members are here tonight. We'll introduce everybody a little bit later on. Now, our grand plan back then was to announce our inaugural class the following spring and host our first induction ceremony in the fall of 2020. Obviously, that was still during the days when people were hoarding toilet paper. You don't have to drive very far here in town to see that that thankfully is not the case anymore. Good to see some homecoming festivities live on. We did eventually hold that first induction ceremony in the fall of 2021. In the years since, we've been trying a total of 15 members into the Hall of Fame. That's prior to this evening. Tonight we've got another very deserving group who encompass nearly the entire history of Cougar athletics. We want to recognize those members of our Hall of Fame who are here this evening. We have Coach Al Marshall, Coach Rob Davidchofer, Coach Rob Davidchofer. Sitting right across the table from him is Rich Napper. And one of our inductees from last year, Phil Cowan. It's a fun bit that I stole from the County Baseball Hall of Fame. If you ever have a chance to go, it's a lot of fun. I almost got included in a list of Hall of Famers this year. I don't know how Gary Dolphin got that screwed up, but I'm glad he only got through Jesse Gett and then realized his mistake, because my last baseball coach, Chad Gale, is here, and he can tell you that the words Jesse Gavin and Hall of Fame don't belong in the same sentence. So, in case you are curious, there is a way for all of you to be involved in this Hall of Fame as well. We count on members of the public for nominations to the Hall of Fame. It's pretty simple. Once someone is nominated, they stay in our pool of nominees forever until they are inducted, or just forever. We have some nomination forms back at the table where you picked up your programs and paid your admission fee, so feel free to grab one of those sometime through the evening or before you leave this evening. There is, again, no need to re-nominate anyone. So if you think of folks while we're going through the proceedings this evening that are deserving of induction for future years, you can certainly pick up one of those forms and send those back in, drop them off at the high school. There is also a form on the Cascade High School website, so you can go that route as well. So now that we've covered both the history and given you a little bit of homework, time to get down to business. Our first speaker this evening will, without question, join this Hall of Fame in his own right one day. Over more than 20 years as the head coach of the Cascade girls basketball team, he's compiled more than 400 victories and led 10 teams to the state tournament, including the only state championship team in that program history. That was back in 2018. A dozen of his players have been named All-State, including 2 of our inductees tonight. Equally impressive, he owns an undefeated record on the Sports Jeopardy TV quiz show. Please welcome Mike Scott.
Tell me if you hear me or whatnot, but Sports Jeopardy, the final Jeopardy question was a history question, so I lucked out there quite well. Before I get started, let's just say that it's, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Hall of Fame induction ceremony. A hearty congratulations to our 4 inductees tonight, Ashley, who I'm here to represent, Kevin, Mr. Felton and his clan over there, the Meyer clan, here to see Abby, and Mike, aka Curly, are our 4 to whom we are here to celebrate. There's a reason it's a packed room. All of you have rather large families, so perfect intimate space to have it. Like I said, tonight I'm here for Ashley and to warm the mic up for Tim Frake, who will be coming up pretty soon, which should be a blast. It is my distinct honor and privilege to present to you tonight Miss Ashley Arlen. I've known Ashley since she was an awkward, long-limbed elementary student. She was fast and obviously athletic, but still a fawn on ice. But there was something there, you could see it. Over time, with a ton of work and help from her parents, Russ and Karen, and along with Mark Otting, who put a tremendous amount of time and energy into developing Ashley into the player she would become. She was, and is still the most dominant and athletic player that I have coached or witnessed on our level in my 29 years living in Iowa. I'm just very fortunate to be able to coach her. Her accomplishments are staggering. I just tried to brief them up, and they're rather awe-inspiring. At Cascade High School, 2-time All-State selection, 2-time Telegraph Hero Player of the Year, program leader in points, rebounds, points in the game, highest field goal percentage, field goals made, and along with that, highly honored and decorated volleyball player for our volleyball program. At Iowa State, she played in 34 out of 36 games as a freshman, averaged 3.5 points, 3 rebounds, 5 times. She was in double figures, helped the Cyclones to the Elite 8, and she was named a Cyclone Challenge All-Tournament team as a freshman. So that was quite exciting. After some change, she went to Wayne State, where she had quite the career. 3 years, 84-12. Went undefeated at home over 3 years, 46-0, 2-time All-American, NCAA Division II Player of the Year, 3 times she led Wayne State to the NCAA tournament, a trip to the Elite 8, which is equivalent to the NCAA Final Four in Division I, scored over 1,700 points, snagged 800 rebounds. Today, you're looking at a wonderful woman who is now in the midst of her pro career, playing overseas. She had stops in Romania, Spain, Germany, England, Sweden, England again, and now Australia. Needless to say that her passport is quite envious of people like me who rarely get out of Jones County. She was selected All-Star in numerous leagues, including this last year. In 2018, she led her Nottingham club team. They won the Women's British Basketball League, where she was also honored as the league's most valuable player. And as I said, she is still playing today in Aussie. Besides being fortunate enough to have the opportunity to coach her, there are some of the highlights that I enjoy the most. One, going to see her live with our basketball team when she played her first game in Iowa City. We were able to get tickets in and see her play. It was quite amazing. Watching her on TV, trying to guard Stanford's post player at the time, and there were times I watched film or watched the game and I said, where did Ashley go? Where did Ashley go? Turns out she was playing backside defense on the post, and needless to say, Iowa State lost. I was able to get the Division II Elite 8 game on a computer at school during my prep period, and they were playing Bentley from my neck of the woods in New England, and they're coached by Bart Stevens, who is a tremendous coach. I emailed her after they played, and I was just asking her some basketball stuff, and I happened to mention that I was fortunate to coach Ashley. And she, without saying another word, she emailed back and she goes, she's one of the top 3 players I've ever seen in the Division II level, and she coached for numerous years. In fact, she is in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, and in 2020 she was in the Naismith. She's named to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So it's not just me giving her glorification, it's also one of the best in the game. My all-time favorite memory, though, Ashley, is besides pissing you off over an Navy tournament in Wisconsin when you were about 7th or 8th grade and kind of lit a fire under you and you became who you were because of your work. My favorite memory that I share with Ashley is when I went to see her play in England. Mike decided to go on a solo trip. And I flew into Scotland. Why? Because I always wanted to go to Scotland. I stayed at Airbnb, and then I took British Rails into, I believe it was Leicester at that point. Ashley and her friend took me around for the weekend. They picked me up at the hotel, they took me to pregame meals, they took me everywhere, they treated me like a rock star. Back behind the bench I was sitting, took me out to eat afterwards, dropped me off to the hotel, and it was just awesome. Seeing a player that you saw as an elementary kid who could barely walk and chew gum into wow, she's a professional basketball player. I mean, this is unbelievable, living a life that I can only imagine. So she drops me off, actually thinks everything's great. Well, this is the part I never told her was the after effect. It was Easter, and wouldn't you know, I go to sleep, wake up, it's Easter, and little fact, the English do celebrate or do participate in daylight savings time. So Mike wakes up at 9 o'clock thinking he'll get on his train at 10. Nope, Mike was an hour lost. So there I am at Leicester Station thinking I'm going to get back to Scotland to be able to go to get back to the United States and my family. Ended up finding a trip, multiple stops. Long story short, we ended up in Newcastle. And if you know anything about Newcastle, it is about as wild a town as you're going to get in England. So we pick up people that are Scots that are going all the way back up to Edinburgh, celebrating Easter, which apparently is a very drunk fest in northern England. So I'm on the train in my cabin, and it's entirely full with drunk Scots who love to sing, love to have fun, and pretty soon it becomes quite rowdy, and a beautiful Scottish woman sits next to me, and she leans over and says, "You are one fine looking bonny American." And I'm like, "Oh, this is great." And I lean over to her and I say, "You are quite drunk, class." So yeah, that was one of my favorite stories because it was just I was on the open road and good people, and getting to see Ashley play was just it was just the best thing you could ever imagine. This has been a tremendous honor for you to ask me, Ashley, to introduce you into the Cascade Hall of Fame. But I think I speak for all of us when I say it's not only been an honor to watch you grow into a highly successful basketball player, but also to see you blossom into a beautiful, hardworking, and humble woman who is and will be the ultimate role model for your sweet daughter, Amaya. Got that name right. So please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in honoring Ashley Arlen into the Cascade High School Hall of Fame, a place she rightly earns and deserves to be forever. Ashley.
It's not about getting a scholarship, getting drafted, or making sports center. It's a deep need in us that comes from the heart. We need to practice, play, lift, hustle, sweat, and compete. We do it all for our teammates. We don't lift with a future Olympic medalist. We lift with a future doctor. We don't run with a future WNBA champion. We run with a future nurse or teacher. You cheer for us because you know us. You know more than just our name. And when it's all over, when we put that jersey on and lace up those shoes and walk off the court for the last time, our hearts crumble. Those tears are real, but deep down inside, we are proud of ourselves and we are proud of our teammates. I just find this so true because I don't remember every win or loss. I don't remember a stat I ever had, but I do remember all of my teammates from every single country I played on. I remember all of my coaches, and I remember every experience I had with them. I'd like to thank the committee tonight. You guys have put together an awesome event, awesome weekend, and I am very grateful that I was able to come home on my little forced holiday from Australia. And to everybody in the community, for all of you who relay this, Cascade Athletics, and just the support around it is amazing. Even traveling, like I said, all over the world, the support, all the overseas isn't always top tier, but Cascade always does have a very family homegrown feel, and it's somewhere to always come home to and call home. To Coach Gonza, you were there, like you said, when I was in AAU, and that I can tell you word for word what was said to me. And I said, Coach is never going to say that to me ever again, and no coach has. So thank you. To my mom, you've been my constant through every up and down, and I appreciate that. Been through everything as a kid, all the way through it, and helping me with May as well. Really nice. Thanks for being here. And to all my other family and friends, thank you for always showing up. Parents, brothers, sisters, all of you, it's just showing up. It makes such a huge difference. And that's something that I do miss and lack when I am away from home. And I suppose I'd like to thank Amaya. Thanks for being my little cheerleader. All right, you're not allowed to cheer basketball, yeah, but you are a really good cheerleader. And more than anything, I really do hope my basketball journey is such an inspiration to kids around here and everywhere, and they can just see that dreams really do come true. So thank you.
Speaking for the committee, Ashley, we're glad you got the forced holiday and we're able to be here as well. There are few people better equipped to tell the history of Cascade Athletics than our next speaker. He was among the first students at CHS and has represented the school as an athlete, coach, and administrator. He was one of the charter members of our Hall of Fame committee and himself inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. In fact, I believe his speech finished up just about an hour ago. So let's hear it this evening for Phil Coward, who I understand he's been put on a very strict time limit, which you wouldn't guess from the amount of material he had.
Kevin told me if I talked for about 10 minutes, he wouldn't have to talk so long. So I can't put enough ammunition to cover at least 5. But Blair told me throw it out the window. Way back when I first knew Kevin, he was a young man. His mother and my sister's husband were brother and sister. And I got to be a godfather with his mother, Patty, for my sister's first son, Jeremy. So I got to know the Felton family a little closer. Then I realized he lived next to the principal at one time. And little did I know, a few years later, the Felton boys lived next to the Belding boys. And that used to be a fist match. We used to fight the toughest out there between those two families. Scoot ahead a few years. Kevin's a senior. We're down playing Solon. And Solon had some footage that our coaches thought that we're going to run them off the field. And the game didn't go according to plan. They played their best game of their career according to their coaches afterwards. And when their quarterback put Kevin out of the game with a cracked collarbone, Patty had to be called down to the bench. Kevin wanted to go back in. He grabbed his helmet. And the medic said, "You can't let him do that." And I said, "What do you mean?" And Patty's like, "Hold him down." The medic grabbed Kevin by the collarbone. And right as his arm was like this, I got a hold of him. I didn't realize Kevin was quite that wound up. Kevin wanted to get back in that game one way or the other. That was the first time Cascade made the state football playoffs. Way to go, Hoop. Kevin could have been selfish. Kevin was a very talented young man. And when I got to be the athletic director, the second year I was at the school, I became the track and field coach. And Kevin was out for football. Kevin was out for basketball. Kevin was out for track. And he was a very good baseball player, so the kid didn't have any break. His senior year, I'll never forget, it was in the locker room, and Coach Marshall had a pretty good squad. Kevin was a little depressed. I think it was before Thanksgiving, if I remember right, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And he was going to quit. And I said, "Kevin, you're a great role model. You're a great team player. you can't give it up. I said, it's your senior year, you've done it, you know, you're a good man for the team. And he stuck it out. And that was one of the memories I remember. Kevin wasn't a quitter, but he wanted to give it everything he had, and he felt like he wasn't doing what he could, but he was doing what he could. And it's tough when you got kids that are doing 4 sports. Nowadays, there's not that many that are doing it, but Kevin was very successful at everything he did, and he was contagious. He got the kids to work hard. His senior year, he actually had the state record, our school record for the long jump, and he had a teammate by the name of Mike Otto. And Mike was even more quiet and humble than Kevin, but he was a couple years behind him. And they got to the state meet in the 4x1, and they were kind of cocky a little bit, a little overconfident, qualified for the finals, and they were in lane 8. They should have been in 1, 2, 3, or 4, and they missed winning the state 4x1 by that much. They were 3rd. Marion, Minneapolis, Cascade, bang, bang, bang. Very, very touching, and I tell you what, they worked hard. They didn't have any idea they were that good until after that. But boy, anybody remember the Spuds McKenzie phase? They had a Spuds McKenzie doll, but Kevin's favorite was Elf. He's had Elf at the track meets with him. Getting to know Kevin and watch him play for the Reds. Years later, he's been inducted in the Hall of Fame. Still holds the school record for football. You know, Kevin was just an all-around good guy. He's a great dad. He's a great leader. Always been a nice guy. One of the quotes, listening to Coach Kanza talk, working with Rich Snapper of the Booster Club years ago when I was the athletic director, we were down in Tassel and Corn. And those that remember Cubby Monternock, Cubby looked at me and we were talking about kids growing up and stuff. And he looked at Rich and I forget who the other guy was, might have been Bentley. And he said, "Cowder, would you want to be a kid again? Look at the shit they're dealing with." And I think that was just the start of cell phones and media stuff, you know. And all of us looked and laughed and said, "No, you're right. The peer pressure and stuff is really tough. And what Kevin went through back when he was in school, that was bad enough." The one thing I mentioned before, the Belding boys, I don't know, did Brian make it? His brother Brian? No, Brian's not here. We won't pick on Brian. The one thing that the Felton boys did head over the Beldings, the one night Cascade was playing, I don't remember, it was a homecoming game, but it was middle of the season, O'Mara said to stay up there. I was down working the gate, kind of going back and forth, and there was a kickoff. And 2 of our guys went down the field, and I don't think Kevin was on kickoff team, but all of a sudden, the defender got hit, and our 2 guys got up and almost started fighting over who hit him first. And then I realized it was Brad and Brent. And fortunately, Kevin had a little input with the boys. He got them to calm down. Kevin's always been a level-headed guy, honest, nice, and I was very fortunate my first year to get to coach the team he was on. And I don't think I can say anything else other than I'll expand a little bit on what Coach Sconza said. As an athletic director, and when Kevin was young growing up, the facilities we had then compared to now are second to none. The parent support and the committee, as far as athletic support, what they do with the youth league and stuff in Cascade, the parents have a lot to be proud of, and I think it's good for our kids and our sports program. So, Kevin, come on up. might be a little longer than Curly's tonight, but. All right. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge Ashley, Abby, and Curly. I'm humbled and honored to be part of this 2025 class. Thanks for this incredible honor, and thanks everybody for being here tonight. Cascade has a strong tradition of athletic success, as everyone knows us in this room. I owe a lot of my drive and athletic success to Cascade High School athletes ahead of me. When I was young, I looked up players on the 1981 football team. Russ Otte, Kenny McNamara, Jeff Kane, Moose McCullough, Dino Huffman, Mike Huffman, Bones Dolphin, and others on that 81 football team. That legendary team started 8-0 before losing the Northeast in the final game that season. Some of the baseball greats from the 82 state tournament team: Joe Callahan, Greg McDermott, Al Hull, Mike Huffman, Pat Dolphin, Scott Dolphin, and Jerry Malloy. Although Curly was not part of that 82 state tournament team, we're right here. I could remember him pitching and hitting for the Bernard Indians, standing about 6'7" with the afro. Curly had me shaking in my shoes when I faced him for the first time in the Cascade Summer Pro baseball tournament. Throwing low to mid-90s, Curly dominated the semi-pro circuit for some time, along with his battery mate, Bubba here, his brother Bubba. And then basketball, obviously, Greg McDermott, Tim McDermott, Pat Dolphin, Curly Tickets. All great competitors and great people as well. They were just what hang on, but I knew it was going to happen. It was just what a competitive kid with a stubborn attitude needed to role models. So as kids, we spent countless hours playing football, full pads, the works, and Macville Yard. But Dad Huey made field goal posts, and after touchdowns, we kicked the PAT. We knocked the shit out of one another on the field. But we stopped when Huey came up yelling, "God damn it, Bobby," or Kenny, "Quit being so goddamn rough." I remember that like it was yesterday. At least one of us was crying every day. Macville Yard is where we learned my toughness. With the Macville boys, we learned that if you got knocked down, you sure as hell better get back up, or you don't belong in that field. A lot of my time playing baseball was spent with the Simon boys, Mark, Dave, and Shane. Their dad, Marlon, took me everywhere. He and Judy treated me like one of the boys, and I'm forever grateful for that. When it came to basketball, where's Al? There's Al. To be honest, I wasn't worth a shit. So I wasn't very good, but I loved playing for Al. And although I wasn't very tall, I relished my role as a defensive stopper. I had to rely on my other skills to bring value to my team. So we were a physical group, and our opponents knew they were in for a tough game whenever they picked Cascade. So one word, playing for Al, that'll always stick with me, is the word solid. When things started to go downhill or we started playing fast, that's what we hear from Coach Marshall. He'd say, "Solid!" Phil coached me my senior year of track. We worked extremely hard under Phil, but he made it so much fun. Phil and Coach Tigges got the best out of all of us, that's for sure.
still remember Phil looking me directly in the eyes before the 4x1 at the state meeting. He said, "Who?" He always called me Who for some reason. But he said, "It's go time." And he goes, "All the other rest up to you to get the boys jacked up." Our team, which included Pete Green, Shane Simon, Mr. Mike Gotti, not there. We went out to set a school record in that race. That record stood for 30 years. We finished third behind Marion, and I have Knoxville. And Phil says Minneapolis. I'll go with whatever Phil says. So Coach James showed me this one here. So one memory I have that sticks out vividly from my sophomore basketball year, 1985. So we're playing Monticello, and we're up by 18 points at the half. Coach said, and I quote, he said, "Gentlemen, we've got them by the balls." He said, "Now pull tight." I never laughed so hard in my life. Another coach that impacted me against my adulthood is Coach Roman. He's not able to be here tonight. I know I drove him crazy with my attitude. I was a little dog, and I was cocky. Oops, I better get a drink. But despite that, I held out. It's out of respect for Coach. Excuse me, everybody. His discipline, attention to detail, and no-nonsense approach is why he's an Iowa High School Hall of Famer. He's a big reason why I'm up here tonight. All right, we're getting there, folks. So all my coaches were father figures, and God knows I needed many when I was growing up. Although none of you guys thought I was listening, I was. Thanks to each and every one of you for being such great mentors, and now someone I can call a friend. Thanks again to the High School Hall of Fame Committee, Coach Al Marshall, for the nomination, my beautiful family, coaches, dear friends, teammates, and all the Cougar fans. The speech would be complete without acknowledging my biggest fan, my mom. There's never been a better supporter than the late Becky Fellow. I encourage each and every one of you to be that person who provides someone else with the belief that they too can be great. And lastly, the one thing I don't enjoy is being recognized as an individual. I played with some great teams at Cascade throughout my high school career. My teammates kept me in check when things would get out of hand. I had trouble keeping my emotions under control and relied on my teammates to help me with that. Hopefully one day many of my former teammates will become part of this special group as well. Thank you all, and God bless.
You forgot something up here, Cleve. Quick note about Kevin. This is a very big week for him because in addition to being inducted into our Hall of Fame tonight, Friday is his final day. He's retiring after how many years now? At Frito Lay. 30 years. It is a tremendous accomplishment for Kevin, but it is terrible news for the Hall of Fame because we're losing our potato chip hookup. Like, you see back on the table, it's kind of paltry as it is. Taking donations starting next year. Now we've got a real I mean, this is a lineup, this year's Hall of Fame. In addition to these new folks going in to the group, those providing introductions include a pair of other members of the Hall of Fame and 2 coaches who are undoubtedly going to join those ranks once they hang up their whistles. We already heard from Coach Sconza. Our next speaker, in nearly 20 seasons as Cascade's football coach, directed 11 teams to the postseason and oversaw one of the program's most successful eras, winning more than 100 games in his tenure. And speaking of success, he earned quite a great deal of it as well as the Cougar girls track coach, guiding 17 individual events to state championships and also claiming 3 team titles at that state meet. And speaking of people who have had a pretty big week, he has had one as well, as his daughter Addison was crowned homecoming queen last night. Please join me in welcoming Tim Frake.
Okay. I only have tears from crying with 20 times. So you're gonna have to bear with me. So, I don't like doing this. I appreciate the fact that Abby, my wife's already crying. This is not gonna be good. This is not gonna be good. So bear with us. Congratulations to everybody who's getting inducted tonight. Cascade, I started in the Coconut Valley as a teacher and coach, first job came here. And this community welcomed me with open arms, and it's been nothing but positive since I've been here. A very special place to live, raise your kids. Obviously, our kids are going through the school system, athletics right now, so it's just a pleasure to be here. Congrats to everybody. But I'm here to talk about who is on the minds of everybody tonight, and that is Dale Meyer. When I was just getting here, after football practice one night, I wandered into the gym, and I thought the circus had come to town. Seriously. So there was this basketball team called what? The Slick Chicks, right? The Slick Chicks, and then they're bouncing off the walls and balls, and I think that hopefully we're throwing balls at Dale, because that's what they should have been. Now, needless to say, I didn't realize one of those little girls was going to become one of the best track and field athletes that this state has ever seen. And that is Abby Myers, so I'm here to talk about her a little bit tonight. Just a few highlights from Abby's career. She never ever lost at the conference track and field meet. So in track and field, you can be involved in 4 events at every meet. So she won 16 conference titles, which is pretty impressive. Never lost at a conference meet. She was a 12-time Drake Relays qualifier with 3 medals. And obviously Drake, if you don't know enough about track and field, it's against 5A, 4A, 3A, all the big schools. So we're running against some of the best. Unfortunate story, we had an unbelievable, and I'll talk about a few of them, but, Abby's gonna, I'm sure, talk about some great athletes that she was able to participate with in her team. And if you never watched her 4x4, it was absolutely amazing. And they were at the Drake Relays at the state indoor was kind of a new event at this time. And I think we got beat out by maybe Roosevelt. And got second, the 4x4 at state indoor. We were able to qualify, and it was hilarious. You go and we get up there, and you got Roosevelt, you got Assumption, and all these big schools, and there's Little Cascade. And these girls literally were looking at Abby and our little girls and going, who in the heck is Cascade and where the heck is it at? Why are you guys up here? They were unbelievable. We qualified for the Drake Relays that year and finished second, but she was able to attend Drake 12 times, which is pretty incredible from a small school. That was her sophomore year. She was a 16-time state qualifier, so all 4 years qualified in 4 events. She had 15 medals. She missed out her 9th grade year in the Open 400. Sorry, Abby. I have to apologize because it's my fault. I made her run the Open 4. So the year before, we had, we were starting to build the program. We had Abby Green and Mariah Cowder and Abby and Tessa Helmley, Allison Gibbs, just some incredible athletes. So I'm getting to the point where, hey, we're not just going down to state, we want to try and win meets. and place down there, get some medals and bring home some trophies. And one of the ways was she was one of the best 100 runners in the state, no doubt about it. She was in the fast heat, but Abby, I don't know how we got her to the track, to be honest. Okay? She was unbelievably nervous, scared. Thank God she had wonderful teammates. She had her cousin there to take care of her. But she went out her freshman year, finished 9th. So missed medaling in every single event at the state meet by 1 place. So just an incredible career there. Abby ended up winning 10 state titles. They ended up, I got smart as a coach. I realized she didn't like individual events, so she ran relays from then on up. So she won 10 state titles, all in relays, 4 in the 4x2, so 4 straight years, obviously. 2 in the sprint med, 2 in the D med, 1 4x1, 1 4x4. I think her favorite race, she'd probably say, is the 4x1, even though we were pretty successful in the 4x4. It's over faster. And she was unbelievable, obviously, as an athlete, but most people put the best runners either second or fourth on the straightaways. We put Abby on the curve, and she had a great team, obviously. In order to win a state title, you need 4 great athletes. But if we were anywhere close by the time she got it on that turn, it was a good night, and it was just fun to watch. She has all over the record books for school. She is still a school record holder in 5 events. She's top 10 in several other different events. I'm going to go through the list. I don't know with Abby, but listen to these people that she helped win state titles. These are all state title holders. Abby Green, Allison Gibbs, Tessa Helmley, Mariah Cowder, Sydney Rickles, Holly Hunt, Bailey Holmes, Celine Rickles, Lindsay Dalton, Rebecca McDermott, all earned state titles with her, so that was just pretty impressive. We do still hold our 4x4 record, got beat 2 years ago by an incredible team from PCM. But they held the 4x4 state record until 2 years ago. They did run faster at rate, but they ended up second. I think they're 3:54. Her 2012 team, when she was a sophomore, still holds the state record for total points at a state meet. So she obviously did amazing things. Basketball career, I talked to Coach Scanza. She led into 2 Final Fours. She finished her career 10th in scoring, 4th in assists, 2nd in steals. She went on to UD. I still don't understand why, but I guess everybody makes some choices. My wife's a UD grad too. So UD has what? Oh yeah, she found no, I guess. That's a good thing. So she had an unbelievable career playing basketball at UD. I wish she would have ran track, but it is what it is. You know, I suppose she had a little help with Wisconsin. You're a poet. I really love you. Every time you talk, you always make fun of me. I appreciate it. And it's pretty easy to do. I give you a lot of ammunition. Volleyball career. She had an unbelievable volleyball career at Cascade. Softball, I think she still holds records in steals and just a tremendous athlete. So it wasn't just track. I was very fortunate. Obviously, as a coach, we are blessed to have wonderful athletes here, and we just try not to screw them up. That's what I was told when I got into coaching, just don't screw them up. Let them do their thing and stay out of their way, and she was one of those types of athletes. I do have a couple stories. I think my greatest one, and by the way, she is already in the state Hall of Fame, the Iowa High School Athletic Association Track and Field Hall of Fame, so it's about time we get her into the Cascade one. And there's other athletes in here, even sitting at her table, who have won or been inducted college Hall of Fame. They need to keep getting in here, and I know we're doing a great job for every year. I don't do a good enough job of nominating these people, but she's already in the Iowa Track and Field Hall of Fame. But my best story about Abby is the sprint medley relay and Jasmine Stabler. If you want to know anything about this girl, so Jasmine Stabler, Clayton Ridge, she was unbelievable. As good as Abby was as a 400 runner, Jasmine was better. And I hate to say that, but she was. She was just fast, okay? They got it probably in 7th, and by the time we got to the back corner of the 200, Jasmine had passed Abby. Now, of course, passing Abby, she happened to cut her off, okay? And Abby got spiked. and she almost went down, and I'm like sitting there. I actually was watching this race, which is what I rarely do. I'm usually hiding in the bathroom while they're running, trying not to puke or cry. But I actually watched this one, and they got around the corner, and she got spiked, almost fell. And the guts and the determination by this girl. She ended up, they got to the home stretch, passed, and won one of her state titles. And that's just the type of kid she was. Like I said, and I say kid because they'll always be kids to me, but she's obviously a beautiful grown woman, got a family now. But I'm always going to remember that way, and how innocent and sweet she was as a freshman. And God, it was just so wonderful to watch her grow and progress and become a leader and just start to have fun. Hopefully she had fun. I don't know if she ever did. But every time she was nervous, hopefully she looks on it with great memories. And I do everything she's done. Like I said, the Meyer family has been so great to me and my family. That most of them have babysat my kids. Mama Lisa and Papa Dale are just wonderful people, and they're now like daughters, way off the daughters. And Nate helped me coach, and I'm not leaving out Nate and all the wonderful things. This family's been very, very wonderful to me and my family. So I thank you very much for everything you've done for me. That might be the last. I don't have to tell you stories. I can tell you stories, but I don't let her come up here. So come on. I didn't cry so.
Coach Rick didn't cry, and that is new for him when he's talking to me or about me.
And a couple drinks to me.
I just want to start off by saying good evening, everyone. As a preschool teacher, I am used to talking to 4-year-olds all day long, so bear with me as I talk to a slightly older crowd tonight. It really is such an honor to stand here before you and to be inducted in the Cascade Hall of Fame. When I think back to my time here, I never imagined that I'd be standing on this stage receiving this recognition. I'm very, very grateful to be remembered in this way. Kevin, thank you for being the first one to cry big time. First, I just want to thank the committee for selecting me and congratulate the other inductees. It truly is very special to be honored alongside each of you. I also want to take a moment to thank the people who made this possible. To my coaches, thank you for believing in me, pushing me, teaching me lessons far beyond the sport. Getting blurry. To my teammates who are like family to me, we shared sweat, laughter, heartbreak, and some of the best memories. To my family, my biggest fans. Mom and Dad, I'm so thankful to say I can look up in the stands and see you at every single game or meet I participated in. You spent countless hours running. So sorry. You spent countless hours driving me to practices, games, sitting in the stands, supporting me in every single season. To my siblings, my first teammates, my toughest competition. Whether it was in the yard, the driveway, or the living room, we were challenging one another in any game we can think of. They challenged me, they supported me, they became my very best friends. Without my family, I wouldn't be up here.
Mama Lisa said everything, always.
One of the things I loved most about my time at Cascade was that I had the opportunity to compete in volleyball, basketball, track, and softball, 4 different sports, Each one taught me something different and made me better than the other. For volleyball, I'll never forget the weekend tournaments. Long days in the hot gym, spending time with my teammates. Those weekends were exhausting, but they were also some of the most fun days. I lived for the cheers, the handshakes, diving passes, celebrations after a long volley. Playing for Coach Frank was a huge part of my success and fun playing volleyball. She not only coached me to be a better player, but also believed in my abilities and just wanted me to have fun and play with heart. The lesson I learned under her leadership as a coach and a mom have stuck with me far beyond high school. Basketball gave me some of the greatest highlights of my athletic career. I'll never forget the years we made it to state tournament. Stepping onto the state floor, representing our school and our community on such a big stage was a dream come true. Then to be named to the all-tournament team, just like my big sister, was such an honor. But what I remember most is the joy celebrating our success with my teammates. Knowing that we had worked so hard and truly earned our spot among the best. I want to thank Coach Scanza. Not only did he show the best pregame videos or give out the most creative paper towel awards, he believed in me starting out as a very tiny freshman. Principal Vanderloo was not sure he wanted me to play varsity basketball due to my size. But Coach, he just didn't want me to get hurt. But Coach Scanza fought for me. He believed in me, he pushed me, he challenged me, and is a huge reason for my commitment to the University of Duke to play basketball and my success there as well. Now softball, the sport I jumped into immediately after state track, with just one practice under my belt before I played my first game. I quickly shifted my focus. I loved the hot summer days with a new group of teammates and all the laughter they brought me. With barely any practice and games almost every day, it could be grueling at times, but I loved it. I'm very thankful for the coaches who believed in me during my softball career and for letting me steal every time I got on base. There is no other way I would have spent my summer than doing another sport I love. And finally, track. Track was my most successful sport, but also my most difficult. It was where I pushed myself to the limit, but where I battled with so many nerves and a lot of anxiety. Before every race, my stomach would feel sick. I didn't want to lose. I hated losing. I wanted to give everything I had every single time I stepped on the track. Honestly, there was a point before my senior season when I wasn't sure I could go on. If I remember right, I went into Coach Frank's room and I talked to him about the possibility of not going out. If I remember right, he just looked at me and said, no. And that was the end of that conversation. Looking back, I'm so thankful he didn't listen to my nonsense. Track ended up holding some of my favorite memories in my entire sports career. Memories that still mean so much to me to this day. The Blue Oval will always hold a special place in my heart. The place we cried, won races, won championships, where I was inducted into the Iowa Track Hall of Fame. Coach Frank and I shared so much success, so many tears, and so many memories. To this day, he still has a hard time giving me a hug without tearing up. He believed in me way more than I believed in myself, and always showed me how proud he was. Together, these sports shaped me. They gave me discipline, teamwork, perseverance, leadership. They gave me confidence, taught me to work hard. But most importantly, they gave me so many memories that I'll carry forever. Before I close, I want to thank those who continue to support me today. As always, my amazing family, my best friends. To my husband, Noah, who has been my rock, cheering me on in every chapter of life after high school. To my boys, my greatest joy. Paxton, our biggest boy in heaven, who we miss every single day. To Griffin and Rowan, the two that keep me on my toes and bring me so much joy. The perspective I gained being an athlete has shaped the way I now approach being a mom. The lessons I learned about hard work, dedication, friendship are things I want to pass on to my boys. And I hope they love sports. Tonight I stand here deeply grateful for the opportunities I was given, for the people who believed in me, and for the community who cheered me on. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this incredible recognition. I'll carry this with me for the rest of my life. Thank you.
I've never had to raise the microphone. Thank you so much, Abby. I do have to point out this gentleman in the pink quarter zip that you see taking the photos. That is one of our committee members. That's Mike Kutz, the Cascade Pioneer. He will be taking photos. I won't hear the end of it if I don't tell the 4 inductees that he wants to get a photo of the 4 of you all together in front of the backdrop here once we get done. Because I was driving through town this afternoon and he flagged me down and said, make sure you tell them. So, there, that's that. I have had the distinct honor of serving as the host for each of our Hall of Fame induction ceremonies today. But the only person that's participated in more of these events than myself is our next speaker. He was among our inaugural class of Hall of Fame inductees, thanks to his legendary career as the Cougar boys basketball coach. And given that role, it's no surprise that some of his former players have asked him to deliver their introductions during these festivities, tonight being one of those occasions as well. Who's to say? Maybe next year we'll just cut out the middleman and let him take my job. Al Marshall, everybody.
I just want to congratulate the inductees tonight. Abby and Ashley, I didn't get to coach you too, but I certainly enjoyed watching you compete. It was a joy because you were both special players. Kevin, I didn't get the chance to coach you, and I just want to say a couple of things. I don't get into the mic, but I'll say a couple things about Kevin. It's not a thing. Kevin was the captain and most valuable player, both junior and senior year in football at St. Ambrose. He was also the captain, the most valuable player, his junior and senior year in baseball at St. Ambrose. That's impossible. Did you ever go to his class or? One quick story, he was better than I probably should have. He was a great player in junior high, didn't grow up one of those. Yeah. His senior year, he came off the bench, he was in the rotation, and we played West Delaware at home. They were rated top 3 in the state, and we defeated them. And it wasn't a great game for Kevin to play, just the situation, played by about 2 minutes. And I went to him after in the locker room to make sure that we were okay. He only played 2 minutes. He just looked at me and said, Coach, I don't care if I play 2 minutes or 20 minutes as long as we win. That talks about the character of Kevin Felton. I'm going to introduce Mike Takis tonight, and I hope I can do a solid job. You know why his nickname was Curly? Because big giant afro, that sort of stuff. On the other hand, it goes the other way sometimes. Curly of the Three Stooges. Now, some of you people don't know what Curly of the Three Stooges look like, so we got a couple examples back there. That's what Curly of the Three Stooges looks like. So, I'm just saying, Curly, to keep working at it, you got a chance to be both Curly and Curly. I first encountered my Curly when I was coaching baseball at Akron, and somebody in Akron Junior High, I don't know who it was, contacted me and said, "We got this 8th grader who wants to go out for baseball." We only had one team, just a varsity team. So I said, "Yeah, okay, send him, get his paperwork done, send him over." Told him the practice was, and we went. Now, the thing about it wasn't as cut and dry as you might think, because this was Akron was closing. You know, you start practice like 2 weeks later, the school is non-existent, it's not there, we're the last hurrah. So, Curly is going to play for a school he never attended and would never attend. So I don't know if this is really kosher. So I think about calling the state to find out, and then I think, why bother, you're not going to play anyway. So I came to practice, and I think it was the 3rd game that I started. I didn't start the 1st game. 3rd game, bad night. Got 3 hits. Maybe I'd put his name to playing a card the next time, next game. Well, he played the rest of the summer, led us in batting average with 350. Never did call the state, figured if they want to put Akron on probation, that'd be okay. I also coached Mike in basketball, and while I might take some credit for his career, I think the main credit has to go to his first coach, Libby's mother, Pauline, who had shooting baskets in the kitchen. Did you help also, Colleen, or did you try to prevent it? All right, good. Anyway, Mike was a player for us. He played 3 years with varsity. Sophomore, he was a key contributor off the bench. His junior year and senior year, he both averaged double-doubles, 11 points and 12 points, and 10.5 rebounds, second team all conference as a junior, 16 points per game, 11 rebounds, first team all conference as a senior. Mike was the tallest player on our team, that regularly had to guard taller people. You can see that in the picture back there. It illustrates that as well. He's surrounded by 2 bigger guys. Got his eyes down the dribble. That's a bad thing. It happened all the time in playing against bigger people. We're old enough, Bob's here, some other people, we have institutional knowledge of Cascade High School. That means we're old enough to remember or misremember, as the case may be. But anyway, the conference we were in included Pleasant Valley, Western Butte, Central DeWitt, Clinton St. Mary's, who was always winning state titles and had Division I players all the time. So he had to battle. Now, I'll just give you one example of how it happened. His junior year, we played Mount Vernon tournament. And their big guy was about 6'5", named, I'm not sure it's the first name, I think it was Hal Hubbard. And he started at tight end at Iowa. So you think he's a pretty good player. The game before us, they beat in on most, he had about 35. And Curly got a guard, so I said, take away his left shoulder, make him shoot over you, turn him back to his weak hand, let's go that way. Held a single figures. Curly got 24, and we won the game. Okay. Now, he was a great rebounder in high school. The great rebounders, I think goes into it. He had great keeping ability. He had really strong hands. He had a knack for the ball. And most importantly, relentless pursuit of the ball. So he was high on season statistics rebounds, career rebounds, that sort of thing. And he has a school record for 24 rebounds in a single game. That's a pretty important record. And think about it. we've had a number of great players, great big men at Cascade High School. None have more rebounds with a single-legged curl. Not Kevin Dalton, not Greg McDermott, not Joe Breitbach, not Craig Callahan, not Nate Schmidt, not Kevin Green, not even Reagan Davis or Harrison. Now, when you have a single game rebounding record, well, usually one of three things happens. Either one, the opposition has a bunch of bricklayers, and there's a lot of opportunities for rebounds. Number two, your teammates are a bunch of bricklayers, and there's a lot of opportunities for rebounds. And number three, Mike got a bunch of layups, missed them, grabbed his own rebound, and his stats. Now, I think after this is over, back at the bar, we can have a lively discussion about which one of those three happened. And right now, I look at someone's face and saying, well, how can I have this conversation? I didn't see the game. I coached a lot of years. Not seeing the game does not prevent you from having an opinion and expressing it very vociferously. Now, Mike was a 5-year starter in baseball, and he was there at the beginning, starting the school year and that sort of stuff, at the high school. So he's instrumental in starting the strong tradition we have in Cascade high school baseball. He hit over 400 in high school. He was the 5-year starter. Pitched all the way through, number one pitcher both his junior and senior year. Two-time all-conference, two-time all-district selection. First team all-state his senior year in the utility, which talked about both his hitting and pitching ability. And again, institutional knowledge. Just so you understand, all-state back then was one class. Wasn't a 4A class, a 3A class, 2A class, 1A all-state. It was all-state team. That's it. And Mike Davis from Cascade was first team all-state, which I think speaks. One other game, just like with basketball, one game that stuck out to me. I remember seeing a lot of games when he played in high school, and especially the ones in the conference against Pleasant Valley. Pleasant Valley was really, really good, and there were some classic high school games that we had against, I still say we, against Pleasant Valley. But the one that stuck out to me was his last game, the senior year tournament, played Hempstead at Macokota. Again, fewer classes, played Hempstead. And Curly gave up 2 runs in the first inning, and then not a sniff. They got nothing the rest of the game. Unfortunately, we only got 1 run. I like counting that happened the other night. So we're used to that. I think Hempstead went out to win the state title, maybe. After high school, Curly went to Clinton Community College, where he continued to excel. Batted 400 as a freshman, 410 as a sophomore. Was the #1 pitcher both years. Okay? And the Cubs were going to sign Curly after one of the games. Scott had been there all spring. His parents were there. Kay was there. Going to sign with the Cubs. Got hit with a pitch. Broken bone in his hand. Goes to the emergency room instead of signing a contract. Fate intervenes. Opportunity missed. I'm not talking about Curly, I'm talking about us. we might not have to wait so long for free cheesy breadsticks. After college, Curly continued to play for Bernard Indians for a number of seasons. This year there was a big buzz about Bernard winning a couple of 16-team tournaments. And the thing was, they hadn't won any since, oh, that's right, when Curly played. And his sidekick Bubba was also there. When Curly was playing semi-pro, he won 6 Most Valuable Player awards in the 16 tournaments, 2 at Holy Cross, 2 at Cascade, and 2 at Bernard. He's also a member of the Butte County Baseball Hall of Fame. After he stopped playing, he did a number
I'd like you to guys.
No hugs. Not the table.
All right, I have no notes, so I'm not going to this. But
Don't cry.
I will be not crying. Congratulations, guys. Eight notes. So, as you notice, they had the old guy go last. These people were not even born when I was playing. Which I have no problem with. But, I mean, I think back, you know, when I was in 8th grade and getting a chance to play baseball, you know, in varsity, it was, I mean, I had a lot of people going, why is he playing, why, I gave it my all, everything I did. And I played hard and did not like to lose. So, I mean, you have to have the fight, you know, you have to want to win, and which we didn't in every game, but we, you know, my basketball career, I lived for bigger guys. I mean, that just set me up for, I am going to do whatever it takes to make this a problem. Yeah, I mean, like Jeff Hermson, Westview, 6'8", I mean, there was not 1 second in the day where I wasn't thinking, I am going to take him down. Whatever it takes. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful for being inducted, and, you know, I gave it my all, and I think, I try to teach that to my 2 sons here, when I coach both of them, and, I think they turned out okay. Hitting fly balls, my dad hit me fly balls, Judy, the next door neighbor. Breaking the window, it was, Dad worked from 8 in the morning till 9 at night. And, you know, his fly balls, it was, I don't know what to say. He worked 7 days a week, you know. But getting back to, and getting my senior year, Lloyd Belton talked me into playing football. I said, yeah, sure. Lloyd was a great guy, and he raised some sons that I don't know about that are Junior being one. I like to argue with them. No, and he, talked me into football. He goes, can you quarterback? I said, yeah, sure. Can you catch? Yeah, I did. Can you punt? Yeah, I can punt. I'm out of all things in high school, I'm very glad that I went out 1 year for football. We were not very good. I'm glad I did. And the other thing is, Jared Rowland sent me a text saying he's not gonna be here tonight, and I went, oh crap, I can't, give him some crap. The one thing I was gonna say, Jared Rowland was my PE teacher too. So the one, I think I had study hall, went to PE, and it was wrestling day. Wrestling. So who would I get? JR puts me with Joe Copas. You guys know Joe Copas was he had hair on his palm. He's a senior, I'm a senior, and we're good friends today, but I get you know what, maybe I can pin him. Never wrestled, JR also, when he said, Mike, you're wrestling Joe, he gave me that. So I thought, well, maybe I can pin him. It was, he blew the whistle, and I was in a pretzel. It was something. But getting back to, which we just celebrated me and my wife's had a party at her house for our 45th anniversary of being out of high school. And I look back, and that's a long time. I haven't done anything for 45 years. All I can say, when I played, I was always the guy that, should he be playing, should he, and I gave it my all. I fought for everything, rebounding. There wasn't one person I didn't want to give a rebound to that was not mine. And I've always had that fight drive. I got my golfing buddies over here. I love beating them on Tuesday. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to win all the time. Seriously, if you're not going to do something and win it, I wouldn't do it. And speaking of winning, okay, now I bowl, golf, do all the things that old guys do. And, but bowling, okay, always did not like bowling. I'm going on trips.
I don't know where this is going.
Yeah. I had to go to Vegas to go bowling. And as I don't know if all of you know, that it paid out really good. Yeah. So Kevin doesn't mind me going bowling. So, I'm gonna end it here.
who got the biggest or most laughs. Erase it. There's a new record holder. All right. Well, thank you so much to all of our Hall of Famers, our introducers, and especially all of you for being with us tonight. Before we close for the evening, I would again like to remind you to submit those nominations so we can continue to honor deserving future Hall of Famers and have more ceremonies like this. I don't know that they will all live up to this one, but more ceremonies like this in the future. There are those nomination forms back at the table where you paid your admission and picked up the programs right there by the door. You can also submit, again, online on the CHS website. Lastly, it takes a lot of people to make this happen. I do want to recognize my fellow members of the Hall of Fame Committee. Serving you back behind the bar all night has been Chris Curry. You've heard from him already, but one of our newest Hall of Famers, Mr. Kevin Felton. Also behind the bar, where nobody can see her cry, is Mary Freight, Cougar Volleyball. And right next to her, no Notre Dame game for her to be at this year, but it's Jenny Horsfield, longtime CHS teacher and coach. Speaking of Hall of Famers, one of the newest members, actually, let's go two birds with one stone. Two of the newest Hall of Famers for the Dubuque County Baseball Hall of Fame. Matt Nauman back in this corner, and Roman Hummel. Cougar baseball team coming off of another state tournament this year, maybe their best coaching job you've done? I'm just going to say. We've already seen and introduced Mike Putz from the Cascade Pioneer. We'll again remind our inductees about getting a photo of the four of you right as soon as I get done talking. We move the podium out of the way. Then this backdrop is here for all the other photos that anybody wants to take for the rest of the evening. And one that cannot be with us tonight because you might have guessed she has other duties regarding homecoming is the activities director at Cascade High School. That's Carrie Beal. So a round for her as well.